Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol leil ubechol sha'ah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol leil ubechol sha'ah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
By the way, for those of you who are not familiar with the acoustics of the chapel, we hear everything that's in the hallway. So I know that some of you are very uncomfortable with the possibility of this service going longer. It's a special service before Purim, and we will be out early tonight by 9 o'clock. Rabbi, I'll take over if you want. I'm still trying to shock them.
Okay, don't.
How am I doing?
Don't kill them too much. Don't shock them too much.
Okay, we're on Lechu Neranina.
Okay,
We don't
thank you,
use that
Rabbi.
much electricity.
That's true. Page 11. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, ladonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, ladonai. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, nekadma vana vetoda. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, Bizmiro narialo, lechuneranina, lechuneranina, lechuneranina ladonai, lechuneranina, lechuneranina, lechuneranina ladonai. El gadol Adonai melech gadol Elohim asher biyado mekonei haaretz. Arba'im shana kud bedor v'omar amto elevavhem v'hem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati be'api im yavon el menuchati. Page 13, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, we sing a new song to God. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basumi Yom Yom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basumi Yom Yom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Sabru v'nodo v'chalaminotav norahu hakol Elohim. Abu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Abu l'Adonai kavod shemo, zehu mincha, lechatzorotav. On page 14, Yismechu Hashamayim, let the heavens be glad, that the earth and all it contains roar in praise. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Eumelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Eumelo, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Livnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot B'nai Tzedek, v'amim b'emunato. On page 16, at the end of Psalm 97, Or Zarua Lat Tzadik, light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright in heart. Or Zarua Lat Tzadik, Ule'Yisrael lev simecha. Or Zarua Lat Tzadik, Ule'Yisrael lev simecha. Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'hodu lezecher kodsho. Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'hodu lezecher kodsho. On page 18, in the middle of Psalm 98, call out to Adonai, all the earth, break out in joyful singing, with 3 lines from the top of the page on page 18. Or on the other side, the transliteration, it's the second line. Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor b'kol zimra, b'chatzotzrot, b'kol shofar. Hariu livnei hamelech Adonai, Yiram hayamum lo, Tevel ve'yoshveva, Neharot yimchaucha, v'yachar harim yiranenu. Livnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, lishpot tevel b'tzedek, v'amim b'mesharim. On page 20, at the end of Psalm 99, Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu leharkot sho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu leharkot sho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu leharkot sho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodesho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodesho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Psalm 29 on page 21. Mizmor LeDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei lima, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, Havul Adonai kevod shemo, Hishtachavu Adonai behadran kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, Ela kavod yirim, Adonai hamayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et hazei havanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel Libanon, Vesirion kemo vein re'emim. Kol Adonai chotzev lamotesh, Kol Adonai yakir midbar, yakir Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel layalot, vayekesom ye'aron, ubehekalo kulo omer kavod, kulo omer kavod. Adonai lamavu yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai os le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. We turn in our prayer books to page 23, Lechadodi, as we welcome the Sabbath bride, page 23. Lechadodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmiyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, Neshemot tiferet velitila, Lechadodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat לכו ונראה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נשואה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה מקדש מלך עם מלוכה קומיצאים מתרפך רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה והוא יחמול עלי חמלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התנערים מעפר קומי לבשי בגדי תבטך עמי היד בנישי בית הלחמי קרא נפשי גאלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Let's paragraph 124 לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקמי מה תשכחי ומה תאמי ויכסו אני עמי בני ונטע יראתי לה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה והיו למשיסה שוסייך ברכה כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהיך כמסוס חתן כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפארת צבאי את אדוני תעריצי היריש בין פרצי וניס מחה ונגילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. We continue with the psalm for Shabbat on page 27. מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב לעובדו לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך באמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון בכינור מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודו לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר שכר ומנחה בלילות עלי עשור נבל עלי היגיון בכינור תוזל לבין עזור נשמר ים ואדם ברום נאום אדוני ודדי בשם רענם ודבי שורה וג'וני ובזון אוזני. On page 28. צדיק כתמר יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו אור נבון בשיבה דשנים ורננים יהיו להגיד Ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlata bo. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. On page 29. Adonai malacheu lavesh lavesh Adonai osi tazar aftikonte vebal timod mikolod mayim rabim adirim mishmereyam adir bamaram Adonai elotecha nemnu meod levecha navakodesh Adonai Leorech Yamim. We've ended our portion, our Kabbalat Shabbat portion of the Friday evening service. We begin with the Mari portion, our evening service, which begins on page 39a. We rise for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Page 39a. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. We'll continue with the Hebrew on that same page. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim ובבונה משנה עיתים ומחליף הזמנים, מסדר הכוכבים במשמעותיהם ברקיע כרצונו, בורא יום ולילה גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומעביר לילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני. Amari Varavim. On page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah mitzvot Hukimu mishpatim Otanu limadeta Alkein Adonai Eloheinu B'shogveinu v'kumeinu Nasiach bechukecha V'nismach b'vorei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla yomam v'layla V'vadecha l'sim emenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam B'shivdecha b'veitecha u'v'lektecha v'aderech Uvishokbecha uvakumecha, ukshartam leod ayadecha, vehayu letodavod beinenecha, uchtabtam amezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. We'll continue praying individually, silently, page 42. לבבכם נשכם וצריכם ולרוחה לבבכם נשכם ושרתם ללום ליום לידיכם והיו לתבבכם למנותם ויאמר אדוני משה לאמור, ודבר בני ישראל אמרת עליהם. אותם ולא תעתרו ועשיתם אותם. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Emet v'munah kol zot v'kayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ein zelato v'anachnu Yisrael amo. We affirm the truth that He is our God, and that there is no other, and that we are His people Israel. Ha-ma'avir bana ben Gizri Yamsuf. Et rodavehem v'zonehem bito motiba, v'ra'u v'nav gvurato, shibehu vodu lishmo. Page 44. Umalchuto, v'ratzon kivlu aleihem, Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisrael, echanu shira, v'simcha rabba, ve'amru hulam, mi chamocha, Va'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedav kodesh norati lo osefele Malchutecha ra'u vanecha v'okeyam limnei Moshe zeini anu ve'yameru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed v'nemar Kivada Adonai Yaakov, ugealom yer chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga Yisrael. Hashkivenu on page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidin makin l'chaim ufos alein sukat shalom echad. Ushmor teitenu, uvoenu lechaim shalom yata b'yad olam, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu v'kol amo Yisrael, ve'ayerushalayim. We rise, page 46. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael. Come on, Maki. HaShabbat. Lasot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam Veini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam Ki sheshet yamim hasadonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Vishamru b'nei Yisrael HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam Yitkadav v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Ve'amad divrach chirutei Ve'amning mahutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon Uv'chayei decho beit Yisrael Va'agala Uv'izman kariv ve'imeru Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach Le'alam olam ve'amaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach Yitba'ar v'yitomam v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei kudesha Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram ve'ama ve'imeru Amen. We continue with the Amidah. which is recited silently beginning pages 47 to page 54. Excuse me. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol leil ubechol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Page 53. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבון ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו. אשר ברא אלוהים, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון כהני שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, וחיי מתים במאמרו, האל הגדול שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו. היבם רצה להניח להם, היבם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נבוא ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד בין הברכות. El Haodaot Adon Hashalom Megadesh Shabbat Vorek Shivi Umeniach Mikdusha Lamikdush Neoneg Zecher Lemase Voreshi. Page 54. Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu, Retzevinu Chatenu, Kadeshinu Mitzvotecha V'Adonokenu B'Torah, Sabeinu Mitovecha V'Samchenu B'Yeshuatecha, V'Taher Libeinu L'Avdecha B'Emet V'Anihi L'Adonai Eloheinu B'Yahava Uvratzon, Shabbat Kodshecha, V'Yanuchu V'Yisrael Mekadeshei Shemecha, Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Yikra v'kara shemei rabba, b'madi v'raknute v'migma kodei b'chaykona v'machon v'chaydecho b'Yisrael, b'galav v'zman kari v'meru, amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach, le'alam olam me'amaya. Yiparak v'shtabak v'bar v'jama v'naseh, v'didav v'dalei v'dalal, shemei d'kudesha. Le'ela miko birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata l'amiram be'ama v'meru, amen. Tegabaso t'kono v'atakono kol Yisrael, kadamo v'oni v'shmaya v'meru, amen. Yehi shalom araba min shmaya, v'chaim aleini v'yakol Yisrael v'meru, amen. O say shalom b'mromav, Uya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru, amen.
You'll notice the music stops, so the cantor has to sit down.
I do.
So, is everyone here local? Where are you from? I've heard of it. Well, I figured if you were from California, you were here for Rachel's bat mitzvah. But where in California? You still live in Los Angeles? I'd like to say lucky. All right. Anyone else? What part? It's not really Florida. It's kind of like southern Florida, don't you think? It's the southern part of Florida. So that's not Florida. Yeah, no, Miami is not Florida.
You got to know the rabbi's sense of humor, by the way.
I'm not kidding.
You're not this time? Yeah, okay.
It's any more that does anyone here live in Northern Virginia besides the cantor? Notice I said Northern Virginia because Northern Virginia is not Virginia. I grew up in Virginia. I know the difference. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I knew that. I knew that. Do you mind if we lied off of something else?
Yeah. We have some other Floridians though too, right?
Ah, Orlando.
Yeah.
I saw the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, Orlando. Yes.
Oh, so you do know
I
some.
knew Book of Mormon, you know.
I don't know. It's not so much of an in joke, which you're going to find out about later. But the cantor doesn't know Broadway.
I know, bro.
Which for a cantor, you would think he should know Broadway, don't you think?
Wow.
Why would the rabbi know more Broadway than the cantor? Well, part of the reason is the rabbi is twice the age of the cantor.
No.
So this is, the midterm is tomorrow morning. So we're going to have a study session before the midterm. You didn't know about that, did you? And it's about Purim. So Purim is a really crazy holiday. It's, who are the two heroes of Purim? Mordechai and Esther. How'd they get their names? How'd they get their names? Do you know that Esther is not the Hebrew name? It's Hadassah, right, which is, she was named after the organization. So, right. Her name. So we know that her name is Hadassah because the text tells us her Hebrew name is Hadassah. Do you know where Esther comes from? I'll give you a hint. It was a really, really, really bad film with Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty. And if you know the answer, I know how old you are. You know that was Al Pacino.
Oh, Julie, yeah. Older than that.
But thank you for being willing to. You ever heard of Ishtar? Who was Ishtar? Yeah, it was a big flop. But in the Persian Empire and the Babylonian Empire, Ishtar is the high goddess of the pantheon. And Mordechai gets his name from Marduk, not the dog, but Marduk the god. He is the high god of the Babylonian pantheon. Think about that for the Persian pantheon. Think about that for a second. Can you imagine, did anyone ever read the book of Exodus? Not the Torah book of Exodus, but the real book of Exodus by Leon Uris? Okay, can you imagine if the two heroes' names were Jesus and Mary? Because that's exactly what the book of Esther is about. The book of Esther has the two Jewish heroes named after the two high gods of a polytheistic pantheon. It doesn't get more assimilated than that. And by the way, Haman and his wife Zeresh are named after the gods of the, I'm trying to think of the Broadway show, no, of the empire that, no, it's okay, of the empire that preceded the Persians, the Sumerians. So we have a book in our Bible that's about, that has the names of the protagonists as the names of foreign gods. We're still, remember, this is a study session. Test isn't until tomorrow. So here we have Mordecai. Why does Haman want to kill Mordecai? Didn't anyone go to Hebrew school?
I hope so.
Because he won't bow down to Haman. Now, why were you taught he wouldn't bow down to Haman? Right, and Haman was asserting himself as being God. Now, at this point, I would normally ask the cantor to stand, and then I would bow down to the cantor. But the problem is, if I bowed down, I'm not sure I could get up so quickly. So, that said, why can I bow down to the cantor without being killed for idolatry? I can honor him, but why can I bow down to him and not be accused of idolatry? Shall I ask the question again? Why can I bow down to the cantor and not be accused of idolatry? He's human.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Thank you. I've been finally validated. I am.
Right.
Yes.
If Haman had actually thought of himself as God, don't you think King Ahasuerus might be a little put out? And there's nothing in the text that says that Haman thought he was God. So here we have Mordecai, who puts the entire Jewish people at risk because he's not following Jewish law. The Jewish law is he's actually required to bow down to him out of respect, whether he likes him or not. So what do we do with Purim? It's, at heart, it's not a religious holiday. How did it become a religious holiday? I'm glad you asked. My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. Okay. You know why it's Thanksgiving? Christmas, by the way, is a close second. Everything's closed. No one's driving. No one's out. No one can do anything. It's like Shabbat in Jerusalem. If you've ever been to Jerusalem in Shabbat, no one's driving, or at least until the afternoon. So Thanksgiving, to a certain extent, is almost a religious holiday in that people change the way they do things. But my least favorite holidays are Thanksgiving and Christmas, because by the afternoon, everyone knows that the way you celebrate Thanksgiving is you sit at the table for 15 minutes, and then most people go and watch football games. Same thing with Christmas. They watch the football games. And I don't know what you do on July 4th, but most people go to the beach, if they have one. But or they go to the sales. Same thing with President's Weekend. Are you going to the sales this weekend? Yeah. Online, right? So, but that wasn't the intent of July 4th. I grew up in the town where Thomas Jefferson lived, and the town closed down for most of the day because it was Thomas Jefferson's birthplace, not birthplace, but it was Thomas Jefferson's home. So there was an element of, if you will, sacredness to it, but there was a reason for it. Most of the secular holidays, or the holidays that we celebrate, are holidays that have taken deeply religious or cultural experiences and turned them into online sale days. That's a natural progression, by the way. It happens, but it doesn't happen in Judaism. And the reason it doesn't happen in Judaism is because of the rabbis. It's our fault. They loaded certain holidays that had no religious connotations to them at all. They moved them or redefined them to be religious holidays. Now, the bad thing about that is that if you're not religious, if you're not observant, you don't really care as much. But the good thing about it is you don't forget why. One of my favorite teachers used to say, it doesn't really matter whether you observe or not. It matters that if you don't observe, you know what you're not observing. Because that's part of identity as well. So that said, it's really a case of the rabbis did it to keep identity, or to keep us in the ballpark. If we had not made Purim into a more religious entity, then we not only would we not be celebrating it, but we wouldn't even be commemorating it. So with that said, let's go to Kiddush on page 55.
We invite Mikey up to introduce the bat mitzvah. Rise.
Okay.
All right, Mikey, you're up.
Okay. We recite the Kiddush on Friday night and Saturday morning at home and in the synagogue because it expresses the holiness of Shabbat, a day of rest and liberation. Chanting the Kiddush links us to our ancestors, brings blessings into our lives, homes, and gratitude to God. We now invite Rachel Melnick, who will become a bat mitzvah tomorrow, to chant the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava uvratzon hin lanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'e kodesh zehir litziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'harta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha v'yahavanu ratzon hinaltanu baruch atah Adonai mikadesh Shabbat. Amen.
Remain standing. It's great. Just remain standing on page 56 for the Aleinu. betorato, v'yadat hayom, v'yadat hayom v'hashivota elevavecha. Ki Adonai hu Elohim hashamayim imah, ve'aretz v'itachat einav eino. Lakena kabbalah chadon Elohim yilu meira, keiti verdus.
Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, b'melech ha'kol ha'aretz. Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
This week, we remember the yortzites of Raymond Benaim, Lee Berman, Leon Burns, Joseph Bick, Rita Capon, Norma Cherner, Stanley Cherner, Isidore Chavat, Melvin Friedman, Flora Glass, Michael Hamburg, Amelia Kornfeld, Richard Craner, Benjamin Lafer, Bernard Megan, Paul Nussbaum, Robert Sachs, Ida Sharp, Joseph Sollitt, Max Stetner, Gregory Strumpf, Stanley Cherner, Richard Newberger, Samuel Perlman, Barbara Frumkin, Elaine Fisher-Klein, Ruth Gewalb, Sylvia Lesselroth, Richard Miles, and Samuel Hoffman. The Melnick family remembers Rick Greenberg, and we mourn the recent passing of Michael Mayer and Richard Megan. Will all those who wish please recite Mourner's Kaddish with me on page 58. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Bilma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam le'omei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'oma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya hayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Announcements. There will be no adult ed with Rabbi Bayer on Sunday, or Monday, February 17th, to observance of the President's Day. The CBT building will be closed on Monday, February 17th, and that's all of this. Gilbert. But which one?
I am a modern major in general.
Okay. Usually he doesn't get anything.
It's because Amanda's here, right? Amanda's dad worked on Broadway forever. So she's giving me good luck now.
Okay. Registration is now open for the CBT golf tournament. We hope to see everyone on Monday, May 12th at Lakewood Country Club for an unforgettable day of fun and connection. Nothing like what I'm singing. Use the QR code in e-Garrett or service booklet to register and sign up. Yeah, you don't know this one.
It sounds familiar, but yeah, I don't know.
Anyone? I'm called Little Buttercup, dear Little Buttercup.
Oh.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Why should I make it easy?
I would have gotten that one if you.
You would have, Rosa. Oh,
Oh,
see?
right. From where is it from? HMS Pinafore.
Another good one.
Don't miss the latke. Hamantaschen debate on Wednesday, February 19th. Yes, it is at 7 p.m. Get ready for the ultimate showdown as Team Pro Latka, B'nai Tzedek, led by Daryl Shapiro, Team Boardwalk. Okay. I am going to tell you that the AJC team, run by its president Bruce Genderson, is going down. Just because we can't lose. We can't lose.
We took an informal poll.
How'd we do?
Latkes won,
Did everyone like prune latkes?
I didn't ask what kind of. Oh no, we didn't ask. But though one time one of my vegetable latke. No. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so there is a Capital One Center on February 26th for Jewish Heritage Night, and the Wizards. We have taken tickets, and we're going to watch the Wizards lose to the Portland Trailblazers. We've reserved a limited number of seats that can be purchased on our website by using the QR code. And finally, there are only a few days left to order your Mishloach Manot greetings in time for Purim. As you celebrate, please consider making a contribution to Matanot Lev Yonim, Gifts of Charity, in support of the Kosher Cafe for Young Onset Dementia. Your generosity helps make a meaningful impact. Okay. I'm very proud of you, Cantor.
Thank you.
You got 1 out of 3.
Made my night, Rabbi.
Right.
Okay.
If you were playing baseball, you'd be in the Hall of Fame.
I didn't know if you were going to do any Valentine's themed, since that's such a Jewish holiday too. Well, if you're saying that Purim is not based on anything, we could make, inferred, I guess we could say. You didn't? Oh. Well, maybe I interpreted it that way. All right, page 62. Yigdal. Yigdal Elokim Chai ve'yishtabach nimsa ve'neitel metziuto echad ve'nyachik echikudo le'lam v'gam etzof le'achduto ein lo demut haguf ve'ein o guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kamon lechol davar asher nivra rishon ein rishit le'reshito Hino Adon Olam Mechono Tzar Yoreg Gedulato Malchuto Shifan Nevuato Netano Elan Shesegulato Vetifarto Lo Kam Yisrael Kemoshe O Navi Umavit Et Munato Torat Menatan Leamoel Hayad Nevio Neiman Beito Lo Yachalifa Lo Yamir Dato Leolamim Lezulato Tzobevio Dea Sitarenu Mabiles O Davar Vikadmato Komelis Hesed Kemifalo Lo Tener Ashara Kerishato Ishlak Leketzamin Meshichenu Lifto mechakeke tishuato, metim yechayer berov chaso, baruch adei shem lilato, metim yechayer berov chaso, baruch adei shem tehilato. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Please join us for Hamotzi in the green lobby and turn to in front of you.